Ownership is not trying to run and own everything around you and have a piece of it. Ownership is the realization of what is truly controllable and what was always uncontrollable. Last week we talked about discipline and just structure, and a little bit about routine. But without ownership, discipline is just routine. It's going through the motion. Ownership creates tangibles. It gives a definition. All too often, ownership, I think, looks like negative self-talk or self-hatred or just not positive, not growth-orientated things. I think all too often we come into seasons and we start to look back on everything, and first off, we're forward beings, so any time spent in the past is time wasted. Which there's always a period of reconciliation, a period that, you know, shrink and grow or break and build, right? There's always going to be a season or a period of reduction after intense periods of growth. It's required to trim the excess, to get rid of the fat, right? However, the structure and making sure that you understand that it is simply just trimming the excess from all the growth and the expansion that you've experienced recently, it's revolutionary. It changes your perspective. When you're going through these things and in these seasons, we want to resort to negative things or resort to comparison, which is the thief of joy, or just other external things for internal satisfaction and gratitude, which in the origin of what you are searching for, it's just not a possibility. Now, when we talk about ownership, I think tangibly it comes back to really 4 different areas of ownership. The first of which is just going to be the ownership of input. So that's owning what you feed into your mind, what you feed into your body, what you feed into your soul. I personally can contest to when I'm cooking, when I am out being physically active, walking my dogs, eating good meals, getting sunlight, getting activity. Even just that in itself makes a large tangible difference, let alone the food that you feed into your brain, like the media and the content, the people that you surround yourselves with, the conversations that you have. All of these things, they form you as a person. Even if you're thinking it's just a moment of disconnection, a moment of, you know, a vice to, you know, get you back to your wholeness or whatever, that subconsciously sticks with you. All those things, they matter. All the bull crap on the news in regards to files this or death here, war there, when you focus on these things, they start to consume you. They start to take all the places in your mind that were left for growth, all the things in your mind that were meant to grow new things, to give you new perspectives. They're too overloaded and just overstimulated with all the extraness and propaganda that is fed to us. You have to be able to put on your visors. Now again, I'm not saying that we need to walk through life tunnel vision and not see anything outside of our own eyes, but there will become times that you have to cut out everything external. Sometimes it's going to look like family. Sometimes it's going to look like friends, people that you really care about. But none of them at the end of the day really are inside of your mind. None of them have experienced the life that you have experienced. They can't understand. Not fully. I'm not saying no one gets anyone. Obviously, based on your ability to be able to communicate, someone can potentially understand a large portion of what it is you're going through, but you'll never find external answers for things that could only be answered internally. Next concept will be the ownership of time. Where do you put your time? Where do you spend your days? What does your downtime look like? When you are doing things that aren't great, when you're X, Y, or Z or around whoever, right? How long are you there? How long does it take you to realize probably not the best situation for me? My mind probably can't handle this right now. Next would be the ownership of our reactions. This takes control from us all too commonly, and I personally can speak upon this. Now, I'm not saying to be perfect, right? We'll get into that next. But you have to take ownership of your emotions, of your reactions. When people integrate or interject ideas or just methodology into your life, it can become intense. It can start to make things feel like a whirlwind inside your brain. And during a time that you have fluidity, a time that you need structure, that can be the difference between a make or a break. Now, I don't think any of these things in themselves by an individual, let me rephrase that. They will. All of these things can be enough, right? Or they can be not enough. But focusing on each specific portion, it makes it tangible, like we've spoke to. It's measurable. It's not just something you're guessing, throwing darts at a wall. It gives you realistic places and goals that you need to work and put progress in. Now again, last concept here is ownership of standards. Again, we are not perfect. We cannot be perfect. We are not Christ. So when you do mess up, when you do make mistakes, as we all do, how do you own that mess up? Can you own creating a problem? Can you own that you weren't good enough to follow through? Can you own that you didn't show up? And ownership is not just of the concept or the idea, but it's the ownership of the emotions, of the desires that it creates inside you. You see, those emotions, those desires I spoke to earlier in methods of transportation, they are not generated just for some irrelevant reason for you to bury with some alcohol or poison. They were generated to move you forward. Those emotions or those desires, they were placed upon you to create emotion. Those emotions were made and drawn up to breathe movement and action into your life. And those actions fuel everything. Those actions revolutionize businesses. Those actions completely upgrade your lifestyle. Those actions give you the surroundings, the environment that you've been searching for all along. Ownership of your standards is so much deeper than just the ownership and the accountability of what happens in that moment, but it's the ownership of your own mind and the accountability and the just knowing that this is a growth orientated activity, just knowing that it's not personal, just knowing that we're all simply humans just trying to do the best that we can. We all make mistakes sometimes. It's part of it. Now, sometimes when people start to talk about accountability, they'll think about negative talk again, just negatively tearing into themselves or whatever it may be. But realistically, accountability is empowerment. The acknowledgement and the ability to be able to know that you need difference, that you need change is power. To be coachable, to be fluid and willing to be able to acknowledge the things that you need growth in, the things that you need to improve in. There's nowhere better that you could be. And the craziest thing is it's nothing that ever stops. Ironically, the more information you find and the more knowledge you have, the more you realize how much you never knew anything in the first place. How crazy you were to ever have the ignorance to think that you knew it all. Empowerment is found through accountability, but not through delusional concepts of uncontrollable outside things, but the realization and the acknowledgement of how powerful you are as a being, how powerful you are as a human, how capable you are, how you can change anything about yourself, how any portion or segment of you or area of your life that you do not enjoy, it does not bring you pleasure or serve you, it is an option. Everything can be changed, and sometimes things are stuck. Sometimes things cannot be moved, right? By no means does that give them shape. You are absolutely allowed and given permission to change what that looks like. That is life. We reformat and redesign and rebuild like it's what we were intended to do, almost like we were intended to do it. So just don't stop doing what we were put here to do. I don't have a crazy long message today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm trying to get back to person. I didn't like the disconnect of me not being here. It doesn't feel authentic, not to you guys, not to my sons. I want to be on camera for you guys, so I'm going to be getting back to that. This upload's also a couple days late. You guys are just going to get blessed and get 2 videos from me this week. But to my sons, no one owes you clarity. No one owes you direction. You owe yourself ownership. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope you all have a blessed day and enjoy the sunshine this week. Go outside, get you some fresh air and some beauty in your life. Thank you guys. Peace.